this plan can be, the platforms and the rail that is there now and is proposed in our plan for 2035 can fit within the two retaining walls, the elevated guideway. Okay, that's important. Now we're going to show you how that might change in the future if more expansion is needed, but that fits within that plan. What it also does is tries to accommodate the streetcar. Although we don't know exactly where the streetcar is coming in this area, we have some ideas. What we're trying to do is create a hub facility that can address the streetcar at whatever place along that facility that it might be encountered. Some are better than others, but at every point we think we can address it in one way or another. So, and that's a critical component because, again, regional commuter rail, if I live in Edmond and I work downtown and I ride a rail to this hub and then it's raining when I get there and I've got to walk a mile or a half a mile to my employment location, that's not so enticing to me. But if I can get a streetcar right there at the hub's front door and ride that streetcar there, all of a sudden that regional commuter rail gets used more and more. So that, to us, that's a big component of where this hub is located and how it functions.
To go back to Doug's first point, when we looked at Site C a minute ago, I told you that the right-of-way or the elevated guideway was narrow down here. You can see it narrows down and then it widens out because at one time there were 3 platforms out here in a freight yard. We have 120 feet between the existing retaining walls on the west side to the east side, and based on this plan at least, that all fits within 120 feet. And that is huge from a cost standpoint. We could spend hundreds of millions of dollars having to widen this elevated corridor out to accommodate more tracks here. And that's one reason we really look very closely at whether we could overlay the high-speed rail service with the commuter rail service and whether they could operate off one platform. However, if some reason in the future that shouldn't happen, we can expand it. This is showing the fact that the high-speed rail and commuter rail need to be on the east side of the corridor because high-speed rail is going this way. One of the commuter rail lines is going east, and one of the commuter rail lines is crossing back over to the main lines to go north or south. So that placement is critical. Amtrak's placement is also critical because it only goes north-south. So that essentially fixes that platform arrangement, if you will. If for some reason in the future we need to add additional capacity, say we're going to add 2 more lines to this platform, or high-speed rail service gets to the point where we can't have, we've got the headways get too close, we can then expand that guideway out, adding another platform here. So this is now showing maybe a dedicated high-speed rail platform or an adventure line platform further to the east, and these tracks would only go to the east. So now you can see we've got 4 sets of tracks that are converging into 2 when we get over into the Union Pacific right-of-way. And we're still doing that within the existing railroad right-of-way. But now we have to expand that elevated guideway, if you will, by about 60 feet to accommodate that. Although that still leaves a little bit of green space here, so we're not cramming it up against the Bricktown buildings, if you will. We still have a pedestrian pathway through there. You could still have that entrance. This might be 2035. This might be 2085. You know, right now we don't know. We can't project that far out. But what we're showing, and I think hopefully addresses the